The story of the film begins with a child, Natascha, who is 10 years old. She was with her father in a nightclub and was happy and enjoying herself. We know her parents are separated. Natascha's father was so drunk that night that he forgot to send his daughter home early, even though she had school in the morning. Late at night, he finally took her back to her mother's house. Natascha only slept 2 hours before her mother came to wake her up for school. Natascha told her mother that she was still sleepy. Her mom told her that nightclubs are not for kids and warned her that if she went to nightclubs again, she would not be allowed to go out with her father. Natascha told her mother that her father loved her and wanted to make her happy, unlike what her mother does. The mother got angry with Natascha and hit her, but she felt regret and tried to apologize. However, Natascha took her bag and left for school. As she walked down the road, a man got out of a car and kidnapped her. A little girl nearby witnessed the kidnapping. The kidnapper took Natascha to his home. When he entered the house, he put her in an underground room and locked the door. Shortly after, Natascha regained consciousness. She found herself in a small, isolated, locked room, and realized she had been kidnapped. The man who kidnapped her came in, took her bed, and left the room. Natascha screamed and made noise for help, but it was useless. She noticed the room was soundproof. There was no way out except for a small ventilation hole. 3 days after her kidnapping, the man, whose name was Wolfgang, returned with food and some storybooks. When he entered the room, Natascha was afraid and didn't say anything. He read the stories to her. After he finished, he wanted to leave, but Natascha asked him to kiss her on the forehead, something she was used to from her mother. Hesitantly, he did so and walked out. The next day, Wolfgang watched the news about Natascha's kidnapping. His mother, who often came to his house to cook and clean, was also home. She saw the news and asked her son about it. Wolfgang replied that whoever kidnapped such a child must be insane and would surely be arrested. Later, after his mother finished cleaning and left the house, Wolfgang went to Natascha to wash her hair. Natascha asked him to deliver a message to her mother, letting her know that she was alive and healthy. Wolfgang refused. He told her he had demanded a ransom, and if her family truly loved her, they would have paid it. He claimed he contacted them but got no response, implying that her family didn't love her. Natascha yelled at him, calling him a liar. Enraged, Wolfgang drowned her in soapy water. Before leaving, he told her to clean the room, warning that if she didn't, he would kill her. One day, Wolfgang, his mother, and grandmother were in the garden when police came to search the house. A girl had witnessed the kidnapping. However, they found nothing. When asked about his whereabouts during the incident, Wolfgang claimed he was asleep, so the police left. Meanwhile, Natascha missed her parents. Wolfgang came into her room with food. Natascha asked for a watch to count the days. He agreed, but only if she obeyed his commands. She accepted. He also set up a communication device between them. One day, Natascha asked him, "Do you feel lonely like me?" He didn't answer and left. That night, Wolfgang thought deeply about her question but found no answer. In the morning, we learn that 183 days had passed since the kidnapping. Natascha began to adapt. She played alone in the room, pretending to be a professor. She drew a cat on the wall. Wolfgang used the wall device to tell her to brush her teeth and obey him. Natascha complied. One day, Natascha smeared food on her hand, pretending to have a skin disease. When Wolfgang entered, she told him she needed a doctor. He held her hand and realized it was a trick. Furious, he punished her by withholding food for 4 days. She only drank water and became extremely weak. Wolfgang contacted her via the device, warning her to follow his rules. Natascha, fearing more punishment, agreed. 4 years after the kidnapping, Natascha was in poor health. She had grown pale, lost weight, and had reached puberty. She asked Wolfgang to let her use the bathroom and see sunlight for the first time. He agreed but warned her that he had placed explosives on doors and windows to prevent escape. Natascha finally showered and saw the sun. Around this time, Wolfgang's mother noticed a hair on his clothes. She was happy, thinking he had a girlfriend. This showed she was aware of Wolfgang's psychological issues. Wolfgang, angry, shaved off all of Natascha's hair. On the 1837th day of captivity, Christmas Day, Natascha was happy, wearing a crown and celebrating alone. Wolfgang entered with a camera and gifts. He asked her to open them while he took photos. Among the gifts were 3 books. Natascha was overjoyed. When she asked to call her parents, Wolfgang became angry and refused. He told her to forget them as if they were dead, and said her new name was Vivi. Natascha helped Wolfgang renovate the room. She asked to see the garden. He agreed but tied her hands to his. Outside, he suddenly dragged her back in and threw food on the floor, forcing her to eat like an animal. On the 2029th day, Wolfgang took Natascha to the supermarket. He threatened her. If she asked anyone for help, he'd kill her. He claimed he had a gun. Inside the store, Natascha looked around sadly, unsure how to escape or ask for help. They returned home with paint and worked on her room. After 2,175 days, Natascha was happy with the renovations. One day, she heard her story on the radio. She learned her parents thought she had died. She asked Wolfgang why he kidnapped her and no one else. He replied that he saw her in a store, smiling and eating cookies. He liked her, and spent 8 months digging the underground room before kidnapping her. One day, Natascha attempted suicide by burning handkerchiefs to suffocate herself, but the smoke became unbearable, so she put out the fire. When Wolfgang found out, he beat her. Natascha counted each beating, recording them on tissue paper and storing them in a box. On the 2,847th day, Wolfgang took Natascha ice skating. She fell easily due to her weight but learned with time. Natascha was always looking for a chance to escape. She asked to use the bathroom. While inside, she found another girl and asked for help, but the girl didn't understand her language. Natascha left the bathroom disappointed. Wolfgang had waited outside and, upon returning home, beat her again for trying to escape. On the 3096th day, 8 years and 4 months later, Wolfgang asked Natascha to help clean his car. He had lost his job and needed to sell it. While cleaning, Natascha noticed the house door was open. She seized the chance and escaped to a nearby home, where she begged him to call the police. Luckily, the police were nearby. Natascha was overjoyed to see them. She told him everything and identified herself as Natascha, the girl kidnapped 8 years earlier. When Wolfgang learned of her escape, he went to the train tracks and committed suicide by standing in front of a train. The police informed Natascha's parents. At first, they couldn't believe it. When they arrived at the police station, they saw their daughter, 8 years after her abduction. Natascha was in a difficult state, physically and emotionally. She had lost 8 years of her life because of the madman, Wolfgang.